Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Beyond the watch. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Beyond the watch, the gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way.
Know it.
This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
I had so much to live for.
I hope it's all working. Yeah, Tech's watching.
Good.
So, people tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, if you want to give us the old thumbs up that the audio is working. Old thumbs up. How you guys like my new golf outfit, huh? We'll get into that here in a second. I got the glove on, dude. I feel like Ricky Fowler meets Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Meets like. Didn't you say, Bill? You said I reminded you of Joe Rogan last week. Because I like to present opposing viewpoints in a professional manner.
You don't just stick to one side like me. I'm kind of set in my ways.
I like to argue both sides, even though I don't necessarily be like, oh, this is how I feel, but I like to play devil's advocate a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's important. Noah's in, Tech's in here, behind the scenes Bill's technically here and there at the same time. I love it. My mom is tuned in.
Hey, Mom.
Alright, so what we're doing right now, we're just waiting for people to join. If you guys want to share the video, that would be great. If not, you don't have to. If you want to talk some shit in the chat, that's always fun.
Look what my wife just wrote.
No, did you help him pick it out? Or did he pick it out himself? Did he help you pick it out?
No, you helped me pick it out.
I picked out the orange one? Oh, yeah, the Greg Norman. Yeah, I picked that out, Noah. Relax. Dude, I'm digging this. Camera's picking up the white hat. Just money. So money. I said, I can't believe you canceled the show because Chris was sick last week.
Who said that?
His name's Tech. That's I still when I play Xbox. Oh yeah, this is just the beginning. I got all the fits are coming, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, the golf fits are arriving. All right, let's do it quick. Can you give me a quick scrolly scroll?
Like that?
I like that last one.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm on the YouTube channel.
Who?
Everybody who's watching on YouTube.
Tech, it's
There's
my
only one.
it's my golf outfit. My golf stuff.
J
like 10
U
minutes before
S
we,
S
started the show, so I figured I was
I E.
gonna wear it for the show. Kind of like Halloween, but for golf. Bro, my golf dedication is like, I've never felt more like in the zone, dedicated to something. I haven't felt this way in a long time. Like I'm so about the golf life. It's like scary.
You're making me back into it.
You know what I mean? Like Bill's back in, like
was out of
tertiary by way of association, back in the game. You know what I mean? Fowler's coming down the stretch after quadruple bogue on 11 and closing out the Phoenix Open in the hat that I'm wearing right now. Look that up. 2 weeks ago, Tiger played at the Riviera.
Phoenix.
I think he was he had a shitty last round, but he was playing pretty well.
Yeah.
I think he tied for 20th. or like 15th or something like
23rd.
that. 23rd, yeah. You see, was it Justin Thomas at the bed? I think it was Justin Thomas. Yeah. You can talk. Bill's mic'd up. Behind the scenes, Bill's mic'd up, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. By popular demand, behind the scenes, Bill is continuing to be mic'd up.
I didn't watch any of it. I just happened, you know, when I walk into the studio here, it's always the Golf Channel, and I happen to see the scores.
Where did I go to the DVR to pull out for you, bud?
I had a
Skill code.
Had to quit my slice.
Yeah, 4 right. Skill code lesson play. Let's go. All right, we're gonna get kicked off here in just here shortly. Quick little shout outs. Tech, my mom, Noah. Who else? Behind the scenes, Bill. I got a solid 3 viewers on Facebook right now. We're killing it. Everyone on Instagram, thank you guys for tuning in on, is that Lost in the Sauce or your personal?
Lost in the Sauce.
Lost in the Sauce show. We love the continued support. Is that an ascot around my neck? No, this is a collar for the shirt under to match the P on the hat. I got bright orange pants too, Mom. I'm gonna send you a pic. They're great. But all right, are we? How you feeling?
I'm
Getting ready, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill, how you feeling? Texting on me right now?
I want to talk about how Black History Month was ruined by one person.
It's unfortunate, man.
Yeah,
that's super unfortunate. I am not surprised. All right.
And then claimed he was the gay Tupac.
Is he gay in real life too?
Yeah,
and
he's
on
gay.
the show, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that. All right. So, as is tradition with the Lost in the Sauce show, Bill, how you doing, buddy? Are you ready? I'm about to kick things off.
Already rock.
You're ready to rock? Love it. All right. So, as is tradition with the Lost in the Sauce show, Chris and I and behind the scenes Bill are going to do a quick little get centered 30-second meditation. Care to join us if you wish? If not, we're about to get things going. Feeling?
Great.
Bill, how you feeling?
Fantabulous.
All right, let's count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We are live. So we are live here with the Lost in the Sauce show. I am your host, Hillshot, California, aka Ryan Andrew Rhodes. And ladies and gentlemen, he's back at it. He was out last week, but you know him by Chris Shabo Jones, my lovely, lovely co-host. Gets more good-looking day in, day out. He's got a little bit of a tan this week. He's feeling a little extra. I cannot say or express more how happy I am to have this man sitting next to me in the studio. Back again, Chris Shabo Jones. How you feeling, brother?
I feel great.
How was that intro?
Yeah, that was the best intro we've done. I think so far.
That's the best gas up intro.
Yeah, that was the best gas up.
All right, so before we gas you two up too quickly, right? We just started the show.
Yeah,
can't gas you up too much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. You know him as behind the scenes Bill. He is off camera. He is mic'd up. Hot mic number 3 behind the scenes Bill. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great, thank you.
Behind the scenes Bill with the lackluster intro. Feels great, ladies and gentlemen. He feels great. If you've got any questions for behind the scenes Bill or for the show in general, he's always monitoring the chat. If there's anything that you want to give us feedback on, anything we get wrong and you feel like correcting us, we're all open to be able to grow together.
And if you ever need a fort built in your garage to hide drug use from your own wife, Bill's got you.
Bill's got you. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure he's a general contractor. I mean, he might even be able to do a couple booby traps for you. Whatever you need, Bill's got you.
He had proximity mines.
Absolutely.
In there.
Proximity sensors.
He had buzzers going off prior to his wife getting to the garage so he could like wrap shit up.
I love it. I love it. You need that.
A real one.
You know what I mean? You need that.
There's not a lot of people building forts in their own garage, bunkers, to hide shit from the wife.
It's not the Fortnite. It's not the most popular, the popular
legend.
Fortnite that everyone has been hearing about.
And that's not like a made up thing. It's real.
No, that really happened.
It's real. Like
100% happened.
Fort.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Bill, you got any comment? You got any comment on the Fort?
That's what you do when you're lost in the sauce, brother.
I love it.
That's what you do.
I love it. Shout out to NoHo Pond.
Yes, always.
So as we are rocking and rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Instagram, thank you guys for the support. If you want to share, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff is good to go. But as is customary on the Lost in the Sauce show, let's start with our weekend check-in. Chris, did you have a good weekend, brother?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. We had Valentine's Day last week. I did my first Valentine's Day. That was fun. I went out with all the rookies, and we did dinner because I didn't have like set plans, so I had to do the 9:30 Piker reservation at the 3.5-star Yelp restaurant with a prefix menu.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Would they bang you over the head on that prefix?
They hit you with $59 US.
That's not bad.
Not bad, but the food was worse than a Princess Cruise Line.
It was 3-star.
Not even.
Not even.
No. The guy actually told me,
2-star.
when he handed me the cheesecake, he was like, "Hey, man, I hope you don't mind. It wasn't thought out, so we had to microwave it."
He told you this?
I
He
swear to
gave
God.
you? Oh
Dude
my
was
God.
exhausted. It was 11 o'clock. And I'm not like, I was like, it's all good, man. I don't want to eat that cheesecake anyway. Microwaving cheesecakes, 11 o'clock. Olivia, which was a decent restaurant where me, Donato, and Brent ate before, and it was good. And then just, I think the holiday rush can sometimes just affect the performance of food.
Absolutely. The quality of service.
Yeah. So I went from Valentine's Day to Orange County to visit the family. My mom just had, she had her thing going on and wanted to see her. I hadn't been down there in a really long time. So did breakfast solo with moms. They love that when you get that solo time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I have other family members. So like, if I get the solo time, it's special. And then we did our thing. We like to shop. So we shopped together, hit Nordstrom Rack. And then we did dinner together. And then I got to hang out with a mentor of mine on Monday. And we went hiking in Lake Elsinore and then went to the Oakley factory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lake Elsinore. That's a trek.
Yeah.
Hike, huh?
Yeah.
That's out near Skydive Paris. That's
Ortega
right
Falls.
down.
I saw. That's why I sent you guys the videos of this. Did I not send it to
I
you?
didn't get it.
Yeah. So I saw guys literally, we're on a cliff. And they're just jumping and hang gliding.
Nice.
I just watched it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I was right where everyone was parachuting.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
It's
The
right
guy,
where
one of
my
the
drop
guy I
zone
went with is a big, what do you call it?
is. Skydiver.
Skydiver.
Nice.
Nut job. Yeah.
He's a nut job.
He's a nut job.
Oh, so Manifest Lifestyle, Jason. Before I get into my check-in, and we'll get into Valentine's Day, but we're doing we got a special friend to Manifest is coming up on a huge recovery milestone in the first week of March. You know about this, Bill knows about this,
Who?
but anyone in the audience, I'm not going to put her name out here.
Who is it?
But what we are doing as a group is we're going skydiving at Skydive
right.
Paris. I want to say it's March 9th or 10th, whatever the Saturday is of that week. I think it might be the 8th or the 9th.
Okay.
And we got a golf tournament on the 10th of Sunday, which is going to be fucking sweet. But for anyone who's interested in going out there, mixing it up, getting a little uncomfortable, doing something crazy, maybe you've skydived before, maybe you haven't. It'll be a fun little group activity. It's a little pricey. We're not completely sponsored. NoHo Pond hasn't upped their sponsorship bid just yet to be able to pay for everyone's skydive adventure. But it will be a fun group activity, and there'll be a bunch of us out there. That's first weekend, I should say. Might be the second week. I have a fucking calendar in front of me. But of March, and that'll be really fun. And that's Skydive Paris. It's out there past Lake Elsinore. So if you're local to Orange County or LA, it might be something you want to check out. So the weekend was good.
Weekend was great.
What about you, Bill? How was Valentine's Day? How was your weekend?
Valentine's Day was good. Just hung out at home, got my wife some nice presents, and then Saturday did some golf. That was fun. Bought a new car for my wife.
Wow,
what'd you
I
get?
told you to send me pics. What'd you get?
Ford Escape.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. All right.
You know, all the doodads, it's the titanium, so it has everything.
Okay. The Escape is the mid-size crossover SUV, right?
Exactly.
A little smaller than the Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Escape.
Got that. And then went out Sunday, did some more golf.
Yeah.
I lost
Yeah.
for the first time in a while to the new champion.
Yeah. You heard it here. That's a Lost in the Sauce show exclusive, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
The
so
new
it
champion.
was a great weekend.
Who's the new champion?
Great weekend. The new champion is this guy right over here.
What's his name?
Let's give it up to him.
For the
Let's give it
audience
up
who doesn't
to
know.
Ryan Big Daddy Rhodes.
There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. So let's get into my weekend then, right?
How was your weekend?
I'm excited. No, Valentine's Day was good. Kept it cash. Hit the observatory. You know me, I love the observatory. Went and saw the one of the shows at the Daniel Ocean Planetarium. Again, I love. That's just
Which one did you see?
I think it's a journey through the universe, or
Okay.
journey through time. There's the water one. There's the Flight of the Valkyries, and there's like more like universal centric one. That's our favorite. So we went and saw that. Had some other Valentine's Day traditional stuff that we did. So it's like a reoccurring theme. It was rainy. I think it was like pouring rain here. Maybe that was Friday because we did ours Friday. But it was good. Loved getting on the course this weekend. Did we hit at all before we played? Did we hit Saturday or anything?
Yeah, we played Saturday. We played a quick 9.
Yeah, we played a quick 9 Saturday, and then we played 18 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, and I'm just because I'm on a golf kick right now, but I'm gonna try to tie this in because I really had a moment this week with the game of golf. Not only am I so grateful to have something while we can't surf because the water's so cold, skiing is 4 hours of driving to get there and all that, which is fine. But I had a moment this week where I lost my golf swing. I had no idea why, but I started shanking the ball. I went to the range on Wednesday, and it was just shank city, just boom, off to the right. It was like a robot, just so fucked. So I was like, oh, I was freaking out. So I went back Thursday to try to correct. Same thing. Still just shanking it. I literally almost broke down and started crying. I was like, oh my God, I can't golf anymore. I don't know what. It was all mental. So I called Bill, and I was like, look, I want to play Saturday. I don't know what's going on with my swing, but as long as I can just hit the ball straight, I'll be happy. So before that round, I came home, was watching video. I'm like Peyton fucking Manning, watching a video of my swing when it was good that Bill took, behind the scenes Bill, ace cameraman in the hole. And I rewatched it. I made the adjustment, and then I've started to play well again. But the point I want to make is that I had that moment of frustration come up, and that humbling moment, because the sport, I picking it up so well, and I'm pushing through. But I hit my first bit of adversity with the game and frustration, and I'm down on myself. And it was cool to see me hop into that process, which I apply in many areas of my life to all right, let's do it. Let's get back to the practice.
Getting
let's
into
get
work.
Back. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Get back to the drawing board and figure it out and push through, which I did. And then I ended up coming out that next day. I was at Saturday or Sunday, and I hit a course record for myself, a new personal record on that same course. And that was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? I had low expectations. I ended up parring 6 out of the 9 holes when we played 9, and I double bogeyed 2 different holes, and I still put up a course record for me personally. And it was a course record for us as a group. Since you had played 20 years ago, you were 1 over par. But for me, I was 5 over par, which is really good for me. That's a 35 on this particular course. And to put it in perspective, 1 month ago, I shot a 53 on that course. So that's 18 shot difference in 1 month's time, because I've put in that work, that dedication to okay, I want to do this. So that's why I got the golf outfit on. My shipment came in. I got my new glove. I got my hat. I'm just out here.
Golf is how we got into pills.
Really?
My crew, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On the course, just popping.
Wanting to take
paparazzi.
bananas. Yeah, perk 10s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't that funny?
That's crazy.
Yep. Sundays.
Now it's like a meditation thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get out there. You've seen my routine, just the breathing exercise before every shot. It's just clearing the mind. And I'll
do a breathing exercise right now.
I watched you battle the frustration thing. You know what I mean? Where when we played together a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
I seen you in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm watching you go through that process. And I'm not that I'm any better than you or whatever.
No,
but
you're definitely better than me. But I have
No,
the
I'm
problem
saying
that I have with
not
myself is I'm not preparing. I'm just going on. I'm not on the range at all. I'm
Yeah.
just going out there to fail.
Absolutely.
I'm setting myself
Absolutely.
up to fail.
But
and
the
that's
emotional thing,
Yeah.
where you got down on yourself. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, because you and I are very competitive because we're very close in skill. And I stopped playing against Chris, and I started playing for myself. I was like, he's gonna, because you play the mental warfare. Everyone's talking shit. Bill's talking shit. I'm like, Ryan, just play your game, and it'll all work out. Don't get down on yourself because you quadruple bogeyed the first hole. You know what I mean? Just stay with it. You know your game. You put up a decent score for you, you'll be happy with that. Let Chris play his own battle. You know what I mean? Have his own thing going on. And lo and behold, my strategy worked, and I sort of settled in and played pretty well. So
I
it's
left
been pretty
after
cool.
9 holes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Poor guy. But we're getting you back out there next week. All right. So enough on the golf. I know I beat a dead horse with the golf, but I'm super excited about it, and so that was really good. Do you want to kick off? I know I'm super in the dark on the current events.
I don't know how you're in the dark on this, but me and Bill, I mean, you have the details too. But the Jussie situation, right?
All right, yeah.
Do you know nothing about it?
Well, we talked a little bit about it before the show, but for the audience, they may not know.
Yeah. So Jussie Smollett, who's an actor from Empire, allegedly was beat up by 2 individuals in Chicago during a polar vortex, minus 20 degrees, at 2 in the morning when he was going to get Subway. He said they had red hats on, they beat his ass, and they said this is MAGA country.
N-word. Hard N-word.
And I'm not going to say the N-word.
Yeah.
Came with all that. So the media ran with it. It just sounded a little fishy. I guess the cops got there, and he still had and they threw bleach on him, and they put a noose over him. All right? So the media went nuts and was like, yo, this is a modern-day lynching, this and that. Horrible. But it just didn't sound right. And, you know, the cops showed up. There was no video surveillance. He still had the noose on, and the Subway sandwich was intact. So the cops started asking questions. That following week, he's doing interviews, and he's got like shows like where he's performing, and he said he was the gay Tupac.
I know that's the punchline.
No, it's not. He said he was the gay Tupac.
Literally said it.
So
how are you going to say you're the gay Tupac?
So let me ask you this. So gay Tupac aside, how do we come to find out that this is all made up bogus? The cops do an
But
investigation.
the gay Tupac's a pillar in hip hop. You can't just go out and
Yeah, I
say
don't
that's
know
a
if this
big
guy
deal.
has a mixtape. You know what
He's
I mean?
not even. No one cares
He's
about
an
him.
Empire, right?
Yeah, Tupac, like, you know, so he does that. Then what else happens?
How does it all come out in the wash that this was fabricated?
And he also sent letters to himself.
Yeah, he sent letters to himself
that said, you're going to die, MAGA.
MAGA
And take
country.
politics out of this. This is just like crazy shit going on.
So that didn't get enough attention. So this all happened. Then the police finally found videotape of 2 big Nigerian dudes. Somehow connected that to one of the Nigerian guys was an extra on his show. They ended up being seen together in the elevator. This just came out. They all 3 ended up being seen together that night in the elevator. So the cops have just been putting all this stuff together. First, when he walked the cops out, he said, oh, luckily there's a camera that saw me. And the camera was turned around, so the camera actually didn't see him. So the cops, once he said that, got some in their head like, how would he know this camera way far away could see anything? And then after that, they just started digging, and they found the 2 guys. 2 guys came in and said, look, this dude paid me $3,500. Gonna pay me, and then I'm supposed to go to Nigeria, come back, he's gonna pay me
And get the
$500
rest of the
more
money.
bucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so basically, he wasn't just on media. He did a 60 minutes interview.
So all right. So
He's
here's
doing
the question.
interviews.
Is his career over?
He's going to
Like,
jail.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
He's literally probably going to go to jail.
Because
It's
the
like
letter,
Kevin Spacey adjacent done.
I think
Like,
it's
you're
where
done.
you're causing American division, and you could incite like a hate
That
riot.
could be like a terrorism
Yeah.
type.
Well,
thing,
he
like
lied
domestic
with the
terrorism.
letter. When you're sending letters, the FBI got involved. So
Federal.
it's federal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
Crazy, right?
That's crazy. That's
The
just
gay
nutty.
Tupac. I used to have a real problem with the gay Tupac. I
Yeah.
just don't. It really drives home for me.
I mean, if you're going to claim to be any sort of Tupac, I mean, at least have some
Dude,
sort of
yeah.
resume. Like, you got to hit records, you got to
Yeah.
hit songs.
He's
like,
single.
come on.
This is. I got the call today from I got the call today. He single-handedly ruined Black History Month.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally he was crying on 60
Yeah.
Minutes. Like, can't have
Because a lot of people had his back.
What I want to see, and maybe this will come out in the wash, is like, you got to be there's got to be a lot of mental issues for you to create this on your own. But like, maybe there's some backstory, like, hey, yo, if you do this,
That's
the
what could be
backstory-
like the higher up puppet
that's what I'm
master
saying.
the
situation.
backstory from what I'm hearing. The backstory is he was going to be getting fired off the show,
But I think it
he
could be
wanted
go
to make
So
further
you
it
want some
than that.
sympathy.
relevant.
You wanted a sympathy
He
play
wanted-
and
yeah,
some press.
and it'd be relevant again.
Yeah.
But the internet's on fire because of it. The memes are so good.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
they are.
video- Videos
Speaking of
are-
internet fire and memes, do we have any updates on 21 Savage or any of that stuff? I think
Yeah,
he got
he's
out of
good. He got
custody.
out of custody. Jay-Z got him a lawyer, which was cool. got out of custody, went to do an appearance at a club, and then didn't want to do the appearance. So he basically took the fee, and he walked out, and they arrested him for stealing. So they're all like, is it the hip hop police? What is going on with that?
Hip hop cops. That's a big thing in New York.
That's
I know
a real
thing
thing.
in New York. I don't know about the West Coast. I'm sure there is, but poor Tony White.
Yeah, I know.
Man, dude.
Actors gon' act.
You can't buy a fucking. You can't buy.
So crazy. There's just a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. Any other current events you want to get into, or should we just jump right into the meat and potatoes?
Let's jump into the meat and potatoes.
A quick comment. My boy Jr. Crosby. I'm not sure if you're trolling or not, man, but if the golf story inspired you, dude, we appreciate all the feedback. He said getting back to the drawing board, he's been having some tough times, and for him to get back to the drawing board was nice to hear.
Nice. Back to basics.
And I know it's kind of cornball for me, but I really do have this emotional connection to like all these areas of my life. Like whether it's, you know, making the right salad at night, or going to the range, or like showing up present for my mother or my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like all these different areas I can sort of apply these little lessons that I've learned. And if I got to take it to the course to fix my swing, or take it to work to foster a business relationship, like it all sort of is connected in that way. But thank you for the comment, man. And shout out to JR, man. I miss you, bud. I think you're somewhere on the East Coast now, or he's in Florida, but he's a good kid. We grew up out here. So current events, we did that. Do you want to intro the main segment?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get Bill's feedback, your feedback,
absolutely.
and then just share kind of some tools that I learned over the weekend. So I went to Orange County this weekend. I had a business meeting set up Friday. Was in a really great state, and my girlfriend, she's been kind of going through some things just internally and dealing with her own personal issues. We won't get into kind of what they are,
absolutely.
but I wasn't there for her. So in the moment, I'm trying to get down and handle my business. I'm feeling really good. You know, and it just can't, not an energy vampire, but like, you know, when you're really on, and do you ever go through that?
Yeah, you didn't want to get taken out of your zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that ever come up for you? Like where you're on and your girl's off?
It's happened in many different ways, whether it's with my girl or a girl or friend or whatever. I get a lot of it with friends.
Okay.
Like I'm sort of like tunnel vision. I'm on this mission, and I have a lot of that. Like people trying to come in and like, hey, this, trying to divert me off of my mission.
Yeah.
And figuring out the boundaries with friends versus like a girl that you're in love with. That there's a big difference there. That, like, it's much easier for me to set a boundary with a friend than it is with someone like I'm trying to build a life with. Like, hey, like this is the person that I love. I need to figure out how to be present for them, how to communicate effectively that like, yo, I might not be the guy you need right now. This is why, right? But I know you said that you learned a lot about this particular situation.
Yeah.
As far as like tools to apply and things like that, if you want to give them some more background.
Yeah, definitely. So it comes up, and she's been dealing with it for not just the one day. So we're, you know, and my solution has been just crushing her with solutions. Like, well, are you meditating? Are you working out? Are you reading? Like, what are you doing about it? And that has made her feel not good enough in the relationship. So that's kind of the backstory. So over the weekend, I have all this going on. I completely pulled away and was like, I'm going to punish you for kind of
trying to bring me out of my zone.
And I just like disconnected.
Yeah, very selfish thought. Right?
Yeah.
But you didn't have that perspective until after.
No,
right?
yeah. I'm just kind of like, you know, love her, you're great, but like I need to, you know, just kind of pull away.
Yeah.
So I went on a hike with a mentor of mine. On Monday, I tell him all this, and he's like, "You're completely wrong. And here are some tools to handle this situation of resentment." And it's you know, he instructed me to carve out an allotted time. So you set up a meeting to like sit down and talk about these things that are going on, which I've never done. And then ask if they understand where you're coming from, and then also get their side of it, and really just kind of hash everything out, you know. And it was just it was really awkward to do, but it felt really, really good after. I think just relationship skills and like what you use in that
Absolutely.
situation
Absolutely.
and what
Effective
helps.
communication.
Effective communications. Yeah.
I will say this, that those moments are very make or break in a relationship. It's not like you're in a fight. It's something smaller than like a fight, like, oh, I'm done. It's not that. It's not that severe. But if we're able to put the pride aside, to put the ego aside, come together and grow from this sort of discomfort as a couple, these are those make or break intimate moments in a relationship. They're very uncomfortable. They're very awkward. It's sort of like, you know, admitting we're at fault in any way is very difficult for most people. It's difficult for me.
Yeah.
I personally am still learning this, but I have the answers to the test, right? You guys, people who watch the show have heard me say that a bunch of times. Like when you know better, right? You're quicker to sort of hop into that solution when it's then presented. But I will say that my partner is much more of the let's present it that way. She's like the mentor. She's very emotionally intelligent, so she's able to show up, be like, hey, you know, hey, we need to talk. That when you get that text or that, like, hey, it's not a big deal.
So
but
you guys do that.
We need to talk.
Yeah.
And I am never
my
the person like we need to talk.
No.
Never. I'm so scared.
That's the first time I've ever said it.
Absolutely. And that level of intimacy is very uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, now we're gonna get down to some shit. Like I thought we were talking about the weather. How you doing? Like, did you have a good weekend? Like, you know, yoga's good.
We're
Like,
gonna talk about feelings.
now we got to get into that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I felt this way. You felt that way. That stuff is uncomfortable, but it's very intimate.
Yes.
And it can be a huge catalyst for growth in a relationship. So as far as my experience, I have to be pulled into that moment, but I see it. You can sort of see it coming. Like maybe it's been too many days since you've texted, or you haven't talked to him on the phone, or you should have, like, man, she wasn't feeling good. Maybe I should have sent some flowers over, or at least reached out a little bit more. Like, I kind of feel a little sticky, and then you get to like, hey, we need to talk, and oh my god, here we go. But as far as tools that I apply in that, is the one thing I've learned that really sticks out to me is in that situation, all she wants, not all, it's very important for me to understand that a big part of it is that she wants to be listened to, right?
That's exactly what Greg told me.
Like I want my feelings to be validated. I want to be held up and supported. And a lot of times it's not like, hey, so is there anything I can do to help? Sometimes the answer is no, and that's okay. But I'm here to listen to you, to be a sounding board for ideas. And another good phrase, you and I've talked about it many, many times, is this was given to me from a therapist. This is a gem. Is that when this sort of we're in this context, right? We're talking about feelings. We're getting uncomfortable. You know, you did this, I did that. I feel this, I feel that. When someone's having a bad day, and they're putting that on my table, trying to take me out of my zone, one quick little boundary that I like to set is I just say simply, would you like me to support you, or would you like my feedback? Now, support and feedback are different in these different ways, right? So support is I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to sort of lift you up. It's going to be okay. But feedback is solution. And sometimes feedback involves telling people things that they don't necessarily want to hear. They may already know it at heart, instinctively, but they might not necessarily be ready to hear it. So setting that quick boundary, like, hey, would you like some support, or would you like some feedback? And if they say, I'd like to get some feedback, you can sort of see their eyes light up, like we're going to get into some solution. Yeah. Maybe he has experience with problem solving this particular area. And that way I know how to tread. You know, I'm getting a read on the room. Like, okay, does she want me to just listen to her and support her and to love her? Or is she ready to get into some solution? Because sometimes that support comes before feedback, right? They're connected. Like right now, I want to just kind of be down on myself, process that negative feeling, that feeling of sadness. And then like when I'm ready to get into solution, like let's get into some feedback. It's
really valuable. And in the moment, I didn't know any of that. And you're saying the same thing that Greg told me on Monday. He was like, as a man, I want to fix everything. So I'm ramming you with solutions. He's like, stop, listen. And then what was really cool is I did everything we just talked about. And we had such an amazing night after the talk. It was like amazing. Game changer. Then today, she's like, you want to go run the hills?
Love it.
Took a solution that I gave like last week and hit me with it. I was like, oh my gosh. And today we're running. You know what I mean? So just that breakthrough is awesome. It was huge. Really cool experience to go through.
It's uncomfortable, but it's
really uncomfortable.
Huge. Bill, what about you? I'm sure. I mean, you're married. You have a different perspective. How long have you been married? With
Almost 5 years.
5 years, you said.
Yeah.
So I'm sure arguments come up all the time. As far as effective communication in marriage, do you have anything that maybe stands out as maybe your strategy or something you'd like to add?
I'm emotionally retarded.
Okay.
I know what I should do, and I still fight myself to do it. I just want to fix problems. I don't want to deal with the problems. I just want to fix them. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And my wife doesn't care about fixing the problem. She just wants to tell me about it. And I still don't know how to deal with that until I'm out of the situation. When I'm in the situation, I don't know what to do. When I'm out of the situation, I know exactly what I should do. And maybe I do it 50% of the time afterwards, but during the time she wants it, I'm horrible.
Yeah.
That's something I definitely need to work on.
It sounds like maybe that you like you're taking a moment to process it, and then eventually you get to that point, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But during the actual when she needs me the most, I'm horrible.
Yeah.
I would love to be better, but
if you want to steal some of this stuff, what you do is it's a
I'm
neat.
listening
Yeah,
to it right now.
yeah. If you want to get really creepy with it, do a knee exercise, like
The soul gaze.
and grab their hand and like have this awkward conversation, and like just go,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, we end up getting
Yeah.
to it, which is great. Like, even when we get in an argument about something, it's 5 minutes later, we're fine. But, so we end up having that, not as deep as it probably should be, but it ends up happening in our way. And we've honestly learned how to just deal with each other, and it's easy now. There's not any of those uncomfortable things. We just deal with the uncomfortable things. But there's still a process of doing it the right way that I'm not doing it the right way. It gets end up being done, but not the correct process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to add just before we move on to the next segment is so for me personally, part of my process when I get frustrated, whether it's with myself, my life, or them and their life, whatever the hell's going on, I get very introverted and similar to kind of something similar than what you're dealing with, and I go into my own head to find my solution. And the one thing that really bothers me is when, whether it's girlfriend, my mom, my friends, is there anything I can do to help? Do I know something's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Right? That stuff. Now I'm getting more pissed off. Now you're part of the problem. So we sort of created this system when I'm going through something, because at the end of the day, whether it's my mom, my girlfriend, my friend, they want to help. They want to be there to support me.
Yeah.
Sometimes part of my process is allowing myself to feel kind of shitty to motivate me to get to solution. So we use this little code as like, hey, Ryan, is everything okay? No. Or no, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. When that's my version of no, nothing is fine at all. I'm fucked, right? Yeah, I'm fine. Ryan, are you sure everything's fine? Yeah, I'm fine. Ryan, is there something wrong that maybe you don't want to talk about right now? I go, yeah.
Circle back.
She goes, Ryan, is there something wrong that maybe you don't want to talk to me about right now, but maybe when you're ready to, you can talk to me about it later? And I go, yeah. And that's her code to like back off. Let me get to solution. And once I get to that solution and like starting implementing solution, like my world is no longer spinning out of control. I go, yeah, you know what? You're right. This is what's going on. And I got to solution. So that was that took some time to get to that point where it was like, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help. You're making it worse. You're making it worse. You're making it worse. How can I help when you're in that moment? And that was sort of, you know, do you want support? Do you want feedback? It was like, hey, is something wrong, but maybe you want to talk about it later. So that was another gem. That was something that really helped as far as our effective community.
And these aren't things that you learned like growing up in your household.
I wasn't taught this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By like school or TV or music or my mom or my dad. You just sort of figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think understanding the dynamic within your relationship, that level of intimacy that you're at now, the level of intimacy you're likely to get to in the future, and like ultimately that level of intimacy you'd like as like a goal as a couple. Because in, you know, week 1, month 1, 6 months, I mean, you're not there yet. You're just not there yet. You haven't processed enough bad shit as a couple to know where you're at intimacy wise, but you're sort of breadcrumbing. You're getting some feelers like, okay, well, this is where we're at. Like, I can get comfortable here.
Yeah.
But like a really healthy relationship is over here. All right, where's she at with it? If I want to get there, is she willing to get there? And with enough trial and error and enough stuff going on, that's where that intimacy forms. You know what I mean? It's sort of an ongoing evolution. But it's fucking, it's terrifying.
In the moment,
it's
too.
terrifying.
You know the numb feel? You get like
Oh,
numb.
dude. Oh, absolutely.
You just go numb, and it's like
Heart
it's
in
on the line.
Heart in the throat. You know what I mean? You know.
So men and women are completely opposite. Men tend to always want to be by themselves and figure it out, and women want to try to help them that way, where women want the attention. It's literally totally opposite.
Absolutely.
Like, when I have problems,
that's
we
where the
isolate.
problems- and
We
that's
isolate.
Where the problem lies is that
100%.
they're instinctually wanting to nurture, wanting to be a part of, wanting to support, wanting to be there, and the man's like, I got this. Nothing's wrong. I can figure it out. I know how to do it. You know? So we're hopping into like solo lone wolf mode.
Yeah.
And they're like wolf pack.
Yeah.
Lift each other up. Not that there's not exceptions to the rule. You know, that some men are more prone to wanting to be more social and more open with their feelings, and more women who are going to be more lone wolf, more masculine in that way. But I think sort of reading the room, getting an idea of where you're at as like yourself, and then where the partner's at, and sort of how do we meet in the middle.
I think it builds trust, and you have to have trust going into it, because I was afraid if I told her certain things, they would be used against me, like down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, all right, if I tell you, like, she was like, well, what are the resentments?
Yeah.
You know, and like I give them up.
Yeah.
It's like they might come up later. You know, so I was like, oh man. Like,
well, it's
you know.
good. I mean, you obviously learned a lot. You
Yeah.
grew a lot as a couple, so that's
Definitely.
a win. You know what I mean? If it took this uncomfortable feeling for what she was dealing with, what you were then dealing with, to get to this point where you
Yeah.
guys are now growing together, like that's all good.
I go to like Kendrick Lamar, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Like this
Yeah.
ego.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, well, I'm listening to bitch, like, bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not how you like handle things.
No. That's not healthy. That is
It's
not
not.
where you need to be, especially as this is a partnership. This is
Yeah.
not like, hey, what I say goes, you know, my way or the highway. It's like, hey, together, both of us, we come to this point where we are better when we are together than we are apart.
Yeah.
Like us, like two heads are better than one, right? Instead of
Mm.
dragging someone along in the like a codependent.
It's just so different because you
enabling
almost
relationship.
feel like feminine, you know, a little bit when you go there. Like we grew up on Homer Simpson, Al Bundy, and like Tony Soprano. So like they didn't have, Tony Soprano wasn't sitting down with Carmela like, hey, let's talk about it. It was like, yo, get out of the way.
So this is very,
You know what I mean?
I think that's a good point, because this is a new way of thinking.
Totally new.
This is like, I hate to even use the word millennial, but this is a very modern way of dealing with emotion
Mhm.
as a man. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's talk about our feelings. That was not a thing
Yeah.
that we did when we were young. It's not something that we were accustomed to from our parents, as far as our father figures, our role models. Depending on your social, cultural, economic upbringing,
It's opposite from everything that we
Yes.
grew up with.
Yes. It's
The
like Red
complete
Foreman. It's like
opposite.
Red Foreman, that 70s show.
Yeah.
Do you think Red Foreman's like, hey, let's talk about our...
Yeah.
No, he's like, chucks a beer can at
He's
your
in the
head.
back building forts.
You know
like,
what I mean?
you know? Doing gangster shit.
So, it's nice to hear you getting uncomfortable, having a bad time.
I was excited
which
to
then
tell you.
grew into a really cool
Yeah.
time, into a good time as far as you and your, and then to be implementing, like, hey, I don't know how to handle this. Mentor, what do you got for me?
Yeah.
Boom.
He crushed it.
Yeah,
He's
you know what I mean?
he's
Like, hop
amazing,
right
yeah.
in, use someone else's guidance.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's all about. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. You got some pointers?
Yeah.
It's good shit. I like where you this sort of is a segue into our next segment. This could be used against you,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Great
Um,
segue.
So, right. I'll tee that up for me.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're gonna dive into is recovery in the workplace. For those of you who don't know, both Chris and myself, behind the scenes, Bill, we're all in recovery. We are people who've come from some horrible times and now making the best of our human experience. And this comes up a lot, whether it's someone I'm mentoring, stuff I've applied in my life personally. But when is the right time to disclose that you are in recovery, either to an employer, to someone that you're trying to date or currently dating or married to, or hopefully you get it done before you get married. But when's the right time to let someone know, or let your employer know that, hey, look, you know, I'm in recovery and this is a little bit part of my story. So you did a little bit of research on this yourself. You had a little feedback. If you want to start, and then I can sort of give.
Yeah, you don't want to do it in the job interview, right?
No.
Like, hey man, I just got out of rehab. I really need this gig. No, I wanted to get your feedback on it. It's coming up with a lot of the guys that we're working with and people that we work with. So I just thought it would be a good subject to talk on, and how to handle that, because I think a lot of people do it because they want to connect. So instant connection is me telling Bill like a deep, dark secret. And you're at work with people and you want to connect with them, so you might tell them something, but at the end of the day, what I found is, especially in early recovery, it's an absolute no matter what. You might want to breadcrumb certain things, I think, as you would say, but you really have to be careful what you're telling people, and if you have to finesse certain situations. If they go to the bar, make up a story that you can't go, or get a non-alcoholic beer, have it poured in a cup, and just have them see you have one, and like, nah, I'm one and done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain ways to finesse the situation to where people don't need to know your deep, dark secrets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So for me, it's a very personal, very private thing that I've done with my life up until this show, essentially. I own my own treatment center. I have multiple treatment centers at this point, and so now it's such a part of my life that me telling my story on a regular basis is like, it's part of the job, right? It is part of my job. But up until that point, like, that wasn't the case. I had a real estate company and a bunch of other stuff, whether it's in business meetings or business associates, girls that I was interested in. I kept my recovery story very, very private, for exactly the reason you just said, is that I felt it was going to be used against me. And how is it going to benefit me to tell this person or this employer that I used to be on heroin and crack, that I sold dope for a decade, like, none of these things are good things, and they can misconstrue someone's perception of me and my talents and my gifts that I can bring to the company. So a strategy that I used, and I learned this the hard way. I had a crush on a girl. This was many, many years ago. And the text conversation got intimate. I've been through this. I've been through that. I think it was like divorce on my grandma, this and that. You know what I mean? It was sort of like her being like, sort of building that, like, hey, what's going on? Who are you? And I was like, oh, this is me. Boom. Like, I'm talking like day one or day two. Like, I did this. I did this. I did this. I did this. Boom, boom, boom. All of my dirty laundry when it came to like addiction, hustling, all of that stuff. And she literally never called me again. And I don't know if it was an immaturity thing. She was a little younger than I was, but she was definitely not someone who was in recovery. And for her to get to the point where she could hang out with someone who's sober was too much for her. And I was crushed. I was like, damn, like, I put myself out there to this person, and like, they were like, hell no. And like, but who am I? Like, yeah, like if the shoe was on the other foot, that would scare me a little bit too. You know what I mean? I'd be like, damn, like. So after that point, I'm very, still continue to this day to be very tactful about how and what I disclose and when. But as far as a quick little checklist of pointers and strategy, if you're early on, it's a no. I personally have 6 years. If I got multiple years sober, like, this is a fart in the wind story that could like be cheerful around the dinner table. Like, oh yeah, I remember I used to, I was peeking and geeking back in 2002. Yeah. Like, this is a new person talking to you. But if you're 30, 60, 90 days and like, oh dude, like, man, I used to shoot blues like in the bathroom, like across the street, like last week, like, that is a bad look. I don't care how intimate, no matter how what, honest, it will be used against you. And just be very careful about how and what you disclose. So I've done it in the relationship, place of work. But for me, it's a very private thing. But if you are not that way and you want to be open with people about your past, I would be very careful about how much detail you go into. We talk a lot about character assassination, naming names, places, people, places, and things. But for me, it's a no. It's an absolute no. Until we've established this rapport over a significant period of time to where I know this is not going to be used against me. They may even have this in common, right? They maybe have started the conversation. Like, oh yeah, I had a problem with some stuff a while ago or years ago or whatever. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay. So like, they're on the level, like, they get it. You know what I mean? But I've already proven myself as an asset. We've already built a rapport. So at this point, my best guess is that if I disclose, it's not going to hurt my future, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Bill, what do you think? Any feedback?
I have some questions from my lovely wife. She said, "Early on, define, please," and because that's a spouse's dilemma too.
Early on.
Early on, what do you consider early on as far as telling somebody or telling?
Okay,
like me,
so
Does she mean that
me
like
and my wife?
she struggles with telling people your deal?
100%.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
100% she does. Especially your family. It's an issue. I don't even say everything I've done on air because of that.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't bother me any.
I'm talking about Ford.
No, you're fine.
We're talking about Fortnite over here.
You're fine.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me any. Even with my wife, I think after the first week, I told her, look, because we were together every day. I said, look, I have to be upfront with you. I've had issues with drugs in the past. I'm sober now, but I just want you to know that. I'm just putting it out there. Take it as you will. And I was sober for many years at that point, so it was easy for me to throw it out there. And I was at a state mentally that if she said bye-bye, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I think you have to be there if you are going to do anything like that. Be fine with the rejection. But with work, luckily, I've never had to worry about that. I've always been my own boss. So, but I own a pawn shop, so I talk to drug addicts all day long.
Yeah.
And I tell my story probably 5 times a day, just hopefully that someone will maybe get something out of it and say, look, I can't come out of this. So in a different boat, I talk about my issues all the time, and that helps me as well.
So I think that's a really good question.
That's a
and
great
maybe
question.
To bring some clarity, as far as extended family, obviously my mom, my brothers know the extent of it. When they ask, I give them the truth. But as far as like aunts, uncles, like out there, it starts to get, their significant others, their kids, none of that. I don't say a thing.
Yeah.
If they already know that I had issues in the past, I'll let them think what they want to think, but I'm not going to bring that up in any social way at all. If they ask me and they're curious, I'm now 6 years sober. So this is talking about an old version of Ryan. So I'm going to be more likely now at 6 years sober to be able to give them the details, but I will not lead or offer with that information ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Because I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of it. As much good has come from it now, and I can spin that.
Yeah.
Spin doctor, freaking Nick Naylor, get in like, oh yeah, if I didn't get addicted to dope, like my treatment center wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't have helped 300 people by now. And I got this going, I got that going, I got people's lives. I'm saving lives. Like ego. And so I can spin it. But as far as my story with extended family members, like I'm very, very personal. And if they want to know, like I can be like, yeah, hey, so what was it like? Well, mentally it was like this, but I'm not going to be like, shooting heroin was really tough. Like I won't even name the substances.
Yeah,
I won't say that the way in which I used my drugs, like whether it's needles, smoking, whatever, I don't get into any of that.
Yeah.
As far as this, I think this may be a second part to the question you're asking is when is soon? When what was it?
Define early on.
Define early on. So what worked for me, what didn't work for me was like day 1, day 2, learn from that. But then it was like, let me build a connection with this person. So as far as a period of time, I think that's important to note also, but it also is not just the time, but how much of a connection do we have before I'm ready and comfortable enough with our connection to then give you this huge insecurity that I have. And that was like at least a couple months, but like hours and hours of in-depth, of intimate conversation. I don't even know if we had been physical with each other at this point, but the seducer, the manipulator in me wants to say, I gave that information up when I knew emotionally I was connected enough with her that she wanted to keep coming back to what I had to offer. I knew that if I told her this, she wouldn't run away because all the other stuff that I had led with was so positive, which it is. I have a lot of good stuff going on and continue to have good stuff going forward. But I was like, all right, like I got this one. Like she's ready. If I told her this, if she ran, like that would blow my mind. You know what I mean? But that was a significant period of time. The crazy thing is that the person I'm with now knows a lot about people. And like I mentioned, she has that very high emotional IQ. All she needed to do was ask me my birthday, where I was born, and what time of day. And she took one look at my astrological chart and knew that I had issues with addiction. Like out the gate, she just waited for me to offer that information. She's like, I already knew, but thank you, thank you for being comfortable enough and vulnerable enough with me to disclose that. But whether or not she's had stuff in her past, or just because they have that insight or that intuition, you may end up disclosing something thinking it's this huge deal breaker, oh my God, vulnerable moment. And they're kind of like, dude, I've known that about you. Or, I've had this in my past, or my brother, my sister, my friend, my ex had something similar happen. You know what I mean? They're going to be more open to hearing something like that, like a disclosure like that.
I think one way too, because I don't think you have to get into like the program that you run. So it can also be a lifestyle answer, like, you know what, Bill wasn't happy. He chose to not engage in that behavior anymore, booze, whatever it is, and he enjoys his life better this way. It's that simple. You know what I mean? It's like a complete lifestyle change versus like, oh, he's in NA and is like this meeting guy. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to give any color on any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how for me, that's how I run it.
The only problem I have is I recently read a book called Lies, or Lying. That's what it's called. And I learned a lot from it. And that's the problem that I have with either my wife lying or even me lying. That's why I'm pretty forward about it. But my wife says, if she doesn't tell somebody something, or she lies to him about where I was when I was in rehab, something like that, it's going to come back maybe one time. And, those lies just keep building on each other. And, I don't want that. That's something I don't want in my life. And that's a tricky part of this whole thing is that's why I like to be honest. And I'm fine with who I am. And you know what? I don't blame my wife for not being fine for who I am. She didn't sign up to be with an addict. She signed up to be with who I am now, who I am today. So it's just that tricky situation. Like I told my wife, if her parents ever ask me, or family ever ask me, I don't want to lie to them. I don't want to say, no, I didn't have a problem with this, or I didn't have a problem. I want to be able to be honest with them. But she's not comfortable. It's
just hard because some people can't handle it, man.
And her culture, they don't.
That's what I wanted to go there. It's the culture wise. My mom still this weekend was like explaining the friend that you know about that kind of fell out. Mm-hmm. That like I had to breadcrumb that news to her because she couldn't handle it. And now she's like, oh my gosh, well, is that going to happen to like you? You know what I mean? Like she just doesn't get. She doesn't get the whole like all that stuff. Like I get it from an Irish Catholic family to I know that culture.
Yeah,
it's you don't talk about that stuff, and everything in our family is don't tell your sister, don't tell your uncles when you see them, like about little stuff, like if where we bought the dog, if we like adopted it or paid cash or something, like right, like we don't tell them anything.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something to be said about socially reading the room and then like spoon feeding them. No one should disclose anything of this magnitude all at once, up front, in your face, laughing about it. Some people don't think it's fucking funny. I mean, we can laugh about it because we relate. We've been there. We've been on curtain patrol. You know what I mean? Freaking surfing the carpet. Like we've been there and we can laugh about it. But like grandma hasn't been there necessarily. You know what I mean? Like your brother's fiance hasn't been there. You know what I mean? If they're curious and open-minded and want to hear a little bit about the story, even then I'm hesitant. You know what I mean? Like here's a little bit. But to your point and some feedback as far as how does the spouse disclose you're creating these lies because we are insecure about our story. We feel shame around our story. Although this is our truth, this is something arguably very instrumental in creating the person you're having this conversation with right now, right? So it's not something, the stigma, right, says run from it, hide from it, lie from it, but it's our job, even just as the host of this show, to help with destigmatizing. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. Should we be careful about what we disclose and when? Absolutely. Should we avoid some difficult questions if necessary? Absolutely. But at the base of that is an insecurity and a shame, which a piece of shame that's there, that this show is sort of trying to combat. That putting it out there, that owning that part of our life is about moving forward and empowering someone in a similar situation to move forward as well. So if it takes a little bit of getting gritty and grimy and manipulative and deceitful to get to that point, great. But ultimately, that is not the goal. It's to take ownership. Yeah, that was a part of me.
Yeah.
It didn't kill me. It made me stronger. This is where I'm at today. You know what I mean? But it's easier to say when you're a year and a half in, when you're a year in, when you're 6 years in, when you're 30 days in. Like, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut. It's not going to do you any favors, whether your employer, with mom and dad, with nothing. They're not going to keep paying for your rent or buy you a car or get you your first and last security deposit on that new apartment if you're like, yeah, Dad, 30 days ago I was stripping and shooting dope. Like, it's not going to work. So be careful, be tactful, and when the time presents itself, even then, be a little bit patient.
But you know how hard that is for younger kids? Because we grew up a little bit. I know last week. That's what I know.
People are blasting it on social media, on Snapchat.
But it's got to be difficult because they're already a little bit softer. And they have the social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Absolutely.
They're in a tough spot.
Absolutely. I'm going to butcher the statement.
They're in a tough spot.
There's no truer statement, pardon my redundancy, than patience with pen and tongue. Right? There's nothing more valuable than patience with pen and tongue. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you write down.
Yeah.
Because that is permanent. Words, whether written or told directly to someone, can have a huge effect on yourself, on people around you, their lives. So being patient, reading a room is my best piece of advice. Like, yo,
that's great.
Maybe I could just not say anything right here, and like nothing will get worse.
Yeah,
it might not get better, but it could get drastically worse.
It's like not sending the email to a client that you're pissed off
at.
What's
the thing we do? You pull out the notepad. Whether it's I'm a handwritten guy, but even if it's pulling out your notes pad, like the actual note application on your iPhone, jotting it down. Fuck you, fuck him, you did this, you cheated on me, like fuck my boss, like go eat whatever it is. Process
Circle
it,
back.
purge it, get it out.
A lot of circling back.
You copy, delete. Process those feelings, get through that uncomfortability, but for God's sakes, do not make that public for everyone to see. It's very it can be very, very detrimental, and it puts you in a place where you're looking like a mental health patient, insecure. Like, these are not good buzzwords when you're trying to get a job, keep a job, get a relationship, and keep a relationship.
Meeting the parents.
Like, these are not good things, right? So being patient, pen and tongue, huge, absolutely huge. I don't even know. Yeah, I think we're good. We're running out of time.
Yeah, we'll save that.
Other things we'll save that for next time. But hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you heard something that stood out. Hopefully we could have brought some perspective to people who are commenting or watching the show. If you have some additional feedback, please feel free to add it to the comments. If you have a situation or a thoughts or feedback that you'd like to submit anonymously, you're more than welcome to. We can get into it either privately in direct message or on next week's show. But we're glad to be back. Behind the scenes, Bill, we got Chris Shabo Jones, and I'm your host, Killshot California, man. Thank you guys for all the continued support. Shout out to everyone on Instagram tuning in, YouTube, Facebook. Before we go, I'll just rattle off a couple names. We got Tiffany, we got my boy Chris, we got JR, Derek, Brandon, and Gina. I'm not sure if all you guys are still tuned in now, but if you tuned in at any time, we love you guys.
Jussie.
Like, comment, subscribe. We got giveaways at 100 followers on the Killshot host page, on the Lost in the Sauce show page, both on Facebook and YouTube. Every milestone, we're going to have a giveaway. And then, yeah, if you want to come skydive with us, second weekend in March, I believe it's March 9th, we're going to be at Skydive Paris out there in the Inland Empire. We'd love for you guys to come out and have a blast and jump out of some perfectly good airplanes. With that being said, we bid you all adieu. You guys have anything on the way out?
Have a good night, Ma.
Love you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Love you all. All right, guys. We'll see you again next week.